morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you all on this beautiful day. I think it's going to warm up a little bit today. It's a good day for getting out and doing those final leaves, right? We're working on a lot of those right now. So glad to have you with us on this beautiful day. And Barbie, thank you for bringing the flowers. We're into poinsettia season, aren't we? I picked up a couple for around the house just yesterday. So glad to have you with us. You probably noticed the signs and so on, and we have masks available at the door. We decided to begin a mask requirement at the church for the time being, with the Omicron thing increasing, and I was checking all the sources of information on transmission levels and so on right now, and all the sources were advising wearing masks in all public indoor spaces. And although we've decided we've been a little too loose about that, so we're going to kind of require that in the sanctuary of the church for the time being, and we will appreciate your help with that. Masks are available at both doors, and we'll keep our ear to the ground. It's a rapidly shifting situation, would you agree? And we are learning to be flexible more and more so by the day. So I don't think there are any kids today, and your musicians today are Joe and me. Thank you so much. And as always, we start with prayer, and we begin to think about what we are lifting up in our thoughts, in our minds, in our hearts. Prayers for healing, for ourselves, for our community, for our world. Powerful healing energy flowing within us, powerful guiding wisdom leading us toward wholeness and well-being. There's a table back there with candles on it if you want to light a candle to lift something up in prayer. Or just hold it in your heart and mind while we go into a prayerful song by the wonderful Lisa Ferraro called Open Wide My Heart. Open wide my heart, open wide my heart, open wide my heart, open wide my heart. Feel free to sing along if you want. Open wide my heart, open wide my heart, open wide my heart, open wide my heart. Once more quietly. Open wide my heart, open wide my heart, open wide my heart, open wide my heart. And we close our eyes. We allow ourselves to become even more centered and still and attuned to that life of God in us, that power and presence, that flow of healing energy, that wellspring of guiding wisdom. We know we are one with it, and we invite that power to flow through us in this very moment. We invite it to bring forth the guiding wisdom we need to move through the days of our lives, moment by moment, telling us what is ours to do, giving us what we need to meet the needs of the day. We know the will of that power in us is always for our highest good, is love itself, and is always seeking to heal us and to bless us and to lead us in the path of life, of freedom, and of peace. We know this power and presence is with each one of us in our community of prayer this morning, and is with living beings across the globe. Not one of us is disconnected. We are one with the living God, and that makes all things possible. Thank you, God, for your unfailing presence with us now and always. Amen. Thank you, Joe. As a reminder, to those of us here and people out there, just, you can always send a prayer request into the church anytime. UnityDelawareOhio.org, our website. It's a prayer request tab right at the top. You can send in a prayer request anytime and know you're being joined in prayer. You're not alone in that prayer. Silent Unity is something a lot of us don't take enough advantage of. It's a 24-hour prayer service. You can learn more about that on our website or online. Go to Unity World Ministries. There's somebody you can call, or you can email your prayer request 24/7 to people at Silent Unity, and they will hold that in prayer with you as well. Well, we're talking today about an easier way, guided from within. I thought of this lovely old song by Karen Drucker. And she has a little book by this title. It's called Let Go of the Shore. You might know it. It's a sweet song, Let Go of the Shore. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore. Float into the mystery. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore. Float into the mystery. You have all you need. It's all inside of you. Just close your eyes and breathe and know that you are safe. Let go of the shore and let the waters carry you. Let go of the shore. Float into the mystery. No need to make a plan. Your heart will be your compass. Just lift your sails in faith and know that you will arrive. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore. Float into the mystery. Float into the mystery. Float into the mystery. All right, kind of jazzy on that last part. Thank you, Joe. That was lovely. I love that song. All right. Let go of the shore. That's a good way of talking and kind of leading into a message today about kind of an easier way. Also, this, I found a couple of jokes about, we're talking about kind of how we know things, how you get the knowledge that, the guidance you need. And I was looking for some funny things about knowledge. And I thought these were kind of cute. These are kids' riddles about knowledge in different ways. How do dolphins and whales share knowledge down through the generations? Dolphins and whales, how do they share knowledge? Via podcasts. Got to know a little bit of something about whales. What part of the brain deals with knowledge of trees? The tree frontal cortex. I thought that was kind of cute. And finally, these words of truth about knowledge. Knowledge is knowing a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is not putting it in a fruit salad.
Yeah, there you go.
Wisdom to live by. Like that. Well, talking, I was driving in the car, and it's not the first time this kind of thing has happened, but it's always kind of striking when it does. I was driving in the car early in the week, I think. I think I was on the way to PetSmart to get some things for the dogs. And all of a sudden, while driving in the car, this name popped into my head that I had been trying to think of several days before. All of a sudden, just out of the blue, Dr. Mark Hyman. It's like, that's the name I was trying to think of, the name of a doctor from the Cleveland Clinic, and I wanted to mention to somebody. He's a functional med specialist or something. And I thought, isn't that something unintentional, unplanned, unasked? There it just popped into my head. And it's just sort of striking when it's like the mind goes on an automatic search for us. We don't even have to ask it. It just does it. And there's more in there than we realize that we have access to. It wasn't a rational process at all. And I started thinking, how often does this happen in our lives? We've probably all had that happen once or twice, haven't you? It's obviously there's a level of intelligence in there we can tap into, and it comes up in a lot of ways. I think it's very much involved in healing of all kinds, this intuitive flash stuff. Another time that's week, or maybe over a week ago now, I woke up with the idea that I needed to change the cat's kibble. One of our cats has been having some kind of respiratory things for a while, and we had vet visits, we did blood work, we tried a little antihistamine, and just she, continuing to sneeze and sniff, and been kind of worried about her. Suddenly it occurred to me, I changed out a lot of things, tried a lot of things. Change the kibble. You need to change that kibble. I awoke with this realization, and I did, and she's better. I wasn't searching for that. In fact, we kind of set it aside. I thought this, I might just have to live with this, and I think that's involved in healing a lot. It's not something we rationally plot or plan, but we suddenly have a realize with our own healing or in supporting others. We have flashes come to us from this deeper level intelligence. This is something you need to do. Or this is something that isn't right, you need to have it looked at. Or this is something that's okay, that you can support with healing in the ways you've been doing. This is working. Wouldn't you agree that our kind of intuitive insights about healing lead the way very, very often in our own healing work? Even when we're working with doctors, you've got to sift it through your own intuition. Is this diagnosis right? Is this correct? Is this protocol that's being suggested to me the right one? And we need to kind of sift through it, do our own, reflection, let the ideas bubble up from within, because there's obviously a much deeper level of intelligence in us that can flow in if we're receptive to it. It doesn't work by the same conscious, logical, rational, figuring it out process that our rational mind does. And this is very much the easier way to go through life, the intuitional way, with really full access to that intuitional side of our minds. Intuition is defined as a natural ability to know something. It's natural, we all have it, without evident rational thought. We talk about it as like a gut feeling about something. It's an inner knowing, and it's often accompanied by a sense of clarity, of peace, of certainty about something. You just know something is right, even though you may not be able to explain that. We all have this natural ability, but we don't all use it to the same degree, I think. Some of us seem to have more access to it, or have found ways maybe to tap into it a little more regularly, and to experience those benefits more often in our lives. So just lifting up questions today about how far that capacity goes. How much more could we use it if we trusted it more and found more ways to tap into that deeper level of intelligence in us? The ones that bring flashes of wisdom, solutions to problems that we haven't been able to figure out. How do we do that? Are there ways to work with it better? I think there are. And I think our spiritual teachers have been teaching this for a long time. I think Jesus taught intuition. I think it was at the heart of his teachings. He was talking about communion with God so much of the time, and he demonstrated that to such a high degree he could say that God and I are one, the Father and I are one. That's what he was always teaching, was how how to align with that. In the Old Testament as well, I love in Isaiah 30, there's this lovely scripture, which I think is about intuition in a way. It says that God longs to be gracious to us, and that if we listen and trust God, God will answer. Whether you turn to the right or the left, you will hear a voice behind you saying, "This is the way, walk in it." I love that scripture. This is the way, walk in it. And it's like something coming to you. All of a sudden, this is what I need to do. And it comes to us from within. It's that voice, it's that inner voice. That's the easier way to make decisions and to move through life, facing the challenges before us. Tapped into that inner voice that's going to point us on the right path, if this is the way. How does it work then? How do we work with it? It's a natural, it's given to us, courtesy of the Creator. In this different way, this easier way, how can we, prime that pump more? What's our role with it? I think, most of us have very little training in that. It's not something our culture teaches us. We have a very left brain heavy culture, would you agree? We're taught all about figuring and plotting and rationally and logically and, analyzing and comparing and evaluating. And, we have a lot of words for that kind of thinking. We don't have much language for tapping into the inner voice. And we're not really trained in it. We don't get much teaching on it. And so, but intuition is natural to all of us, and it comes to us in somewhat different ways. I think, according to our bent. I often thought the Fillmores were nice models of that. Charles Fillmore really received a lot of guidance in dreams. It was at the very foundation of unity, how he named unity, the images he came up with for unity, came to him in dreams, and then he would, institute them. Myrtle Fillmore was just flashes of intuition. In her healing letters, you just see that wisdom would just come to her and she'd share it. Very tapped into that. And we need to cultivate that more. But intuition comes to us in many ways too. Images, thoughts that come in dreams. We might wake up with something. It might be a flash while you're driving the car or doing dishes. In any number of ways. I want to talk about some of those ways that seem to work well for people. So a starting place for that, I think, is to, number one, put rational mind in its place. And I like this quote from Einstein, Albert Einstein. He was very keen on intuition. He said, "The intuitive mind is a sacred gift from God, sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant." I like that. They're complementary. Rational mind isn't primary, the main thing, and intuition kind of unsubstantial and unnecessary. No, he thought, no, the source of the brilliance, the original thinking, the creative ideas, it's always into intuitive mind. And then rational mind serves that, backs it up, validates it, investigates it. But the divine ideas, the creative new ideas, come from that deeper level inside. So I think I like that idea that these aspects of mind work hand in hand. Intuitive flashes and then rational testing and validation. So put rational mind in its place. Second one is take note of when your most creative ideas come to you. And often, this is one that comes up a lot in the literature on intuition, often it's when you're not working, when you're not concentrating and trying to solve your problem or whatever it is, when you're not focused on it. And I bet we have all experienced that. You're working so hard at fixing something, it's just exhausting, and then when you quit, very often that's when something will come to you. When you're out for a walk, you're walking the dogs, or you're gardening, or something like that. And the literature shows lots and lots of examples of how people have done this. Routine exercise, those, your morning walk, that can be a really stimulating time. Apparently Charles Darwin, the scientist Charles Darwin, he took at least one long walk every day, and he called them his route, his thinking path, and he'd kick pebbles along. When he'd see one on the road, just let his mind wander, and ideas would come to him. Brilliant new ideas would come to him, and some of them were good ones that took a while to develop. He called them 4-pebble ideas. 4-pebble ideas, I like that. But that was a sacred time for him to tap into that deeper level of mind. Not working hard at the desk, poring over a scientific problem, but walking. Einstein apparently played the violin. A lot of creative ideas came to him while playing the violin. The great physician Albert Schweitzer played the organ. So music is a great place to get your mind out of the rational side of the brain, trying to fix things or solve things, and open it up more to that intuitive level of mind. As a scientist I was reading about, he's a physicist, Luis Alvarez, who set aside Friday afternoons every week to think crazy. I like that a lot. He was a very successful scientist. He won the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1968. And he said, you've got to set the time aside to get outside the box, to think outside the box. He said it's just like exercise. If you don't schedule it, you'll never find the time to do it. Schedule the time to think crazy. Just think crazy things. You know, be all kinds of possibilities and imaginative flights of fancy. And a lot of his great discoveries came from that, leading to that Nobel Prize. Reminded me of some of you. I know we got a lot of artists in our community here. I think it's Julia Cameron who wrote the book The Artist's Way. Am I right about that, Linda? And one of the things she said you should, if you want to cultivate your creative skills, one of the things you should do every week is have an artist date with yourself. Go do something creative. It's just like this scientist saying, think crazy once a week, schedule it. But it was by an artist date, she meant do something artsy and, you know, and quirky and interesting. Go visit someplace you've never seen before. You know, do something that you wouldn't ordinarily do. Make it something that stimulates the artist side of you. That it'll help you tap into that intuitive, creative level. If you do that. One of my favorite writers, Annie Lamott, you know, she talks a lot about intuition, and she says if you feel like you've lost it, you get your intuition back when you make space for it. When you make space for it. So put rational mind in its place. Take note of when your most creative ideas come to you. I remember my brother telling me once, he's been a runner all his life, his most creative ideas come to him while running. When do your most creative ideas come to you? I think I might say outside, in nature, or there's other ways too. I want to get kind of into some of those right now. Third one is, and this is a big one, is to ask. If you want to tap into a deeper level of knowledge, you want to invite it in. You want to ask, not in the sense of demanding answers, but in the sense of inviting, creating an opening. Ask. Ask for that deeper wisdom to flow into you. There's a wonderful scripture from Proverbs 2 that really talks about, you know, if you create an opening, just a little invitation, God will flow in. God wants to respond to our word, to the needs of our hearts. Proverbs 2 goes this way. If you make your ear attentive to wisdom and turn your heart to understanding, if you seek it like silver and search for it like hidden treasure, then you will come to know God. Then you will understand what is right, just, and upright, every good path. For wisdom will enter your heart, and knowledge will be pleasant to your soul. Really like that passage. It sounds to me like it's talking about what it feels like when you get that intuition, when you get that wisdom from within. And the scripture is saying you can call upon it. You can make your ear attentive to wisdom. It's an inner ear she's talking about. Or she, I don't know who wrote Proverbs. But there's a flow of deeper wisdom that will flow into us as we open to it, and it'll be a blessing. It'll be a blessing to us. We will know every good path, the path that's ours to take. Jesus certainly taught this repeatedly. From Matthew 7, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find, knock and the door will be opened. Very, very familiar scriptures. And he says, for everyone who asks receives, the one who seeks finds, the one who knocks the door will be opened. It's a very powerful passage, and it's I don't think we hear it deeply enough. He's saying that God is responsive to us. If we ask, if we knock, if we seek, of course God will respond to us. There will be a flow of wisdom and love and peace that will come to us as we ask. And he's not talking about asking in the sense of God do this for me or God do that for me, and watching our clocks for when he's going to get on the job. And we get that way a little bit sometimes, trying to get God to serve us instead of inviting God, opening to God, inviting God to flow into us, and affirming we have no will but God's will for our lives, and and being open to that. My first minister in life, Reverend E.V. Ingy, down in Cincinnati, New Thought Temple, he said, when you pray, you need to pray in that spirit of opening to and expecting results, because God is responsive to us, just as Jesus said. The door will be opened. But go in and with an open heart and mind. He said, go into prayer taking a bucket. I think very often we go into prayer not expecting much. And that makes a difference. We need to know we are priming a big pump. We are, when we ask and invite God in, when we create an opening in our hearts and minds and are ready to receive, we have really primed the pump, and we should really expect a flow, to fill our buckets and overflow. My cup runneth over. Very same idea. I think there are other ways of asking, of inviting and opening to, so God can flow more in our lives. I've been a journaler most of my life. I always have a journal. I've got shelves of them now in the basement I don't know what to do with. I'm thinking of a bonfire at some point, just kind of send it all up into the universe. But it's just a daily practice. It's helpful to me in the day-to-day, always has been. And to me, it's a way of communing with God. I invite God, I open to God in that way. What's mine to do in this situation? What higher wisdom can I tap into as I write down my thoughts and my questions? And it's remarkable how God will respond, what will come to us as we do that. Many people keep a dream journal. If something comes to them during the night in a dream, an image, a thought, jot it down right away, because it goes quickly. Dream thoughts are fleeting. Gratitude journals, sometimes people keep something like that. As we think about blessings, it gets us into a clearer mind space. We can jot that down. It'll open us more up to God. It creates an opening, an invitation. All ways of kind of tapping into that deeper level of wisdom. I know a lot of people who keep a notebook like in the car or something handy at all times. So like driving in the car and that name that popped into mind, or sometimes an idea for a message will just pop into my mind. And I'll often use my phone. You ever do that? It's like you've got an idea and you don't want to lose it, so you put it on your notepad in your phone, or I send myself an email. They're weird later, some little garbled note in your inbox. What? I know, it was brilliant at the time. Ways of opening to that flow in us. And I think that really stimulates it more and more. So ask, that's the third one. The fourth one is take that asking attitude, that receptive attitude, into your day and all through your day. Whatever you do, being alert for guidance, for signs and symbols, for direction, for counsel. It'll come at all different kinds of the day and night. Pay attention to what you're feeling in your body and in your energy. There's a dancer named Agnes DeMille who would always tell her dancers, bodies never lie. And I think that's a powerful teaching. What we feel in our bodies has given us really clear signals about what's going on in us at deeper levels, how we're feeling about ourselves, our lives, how on purpose we are, how in touch with ourselves we are, where are we feeling things in our body. It's like our stomachs will tell us. Each of us has, I think, certain centers in our body that really gives us signals more strongly than others. Some people it's in their guts. Some people it's more in their hearts, where they get signals if something's not quite right, and they're becoming aware of that. We notice it in our breath, how freely we're breathing, how deeply we're breathing. Those are strong signals about coming from that intuitive level of knowledge in us. When you're in touch with something that's right for you, that feels right, it's a blessing, that's the right path, that good path that Proverbs says we can get on if our ears are attuned. There's a feeling that comes with that of greater energy, of breathing more easily. Do you know the feeling I'm talking about? It's like you're kind of in touch with yourself within, you're centered within yourself, and your energy is available to you, and your mind is calmer. We can track that in our bodies, in our minds, in our energy levels. When we're in touch with something that's right for us, there's a healing energy that flows. We feel it. We feel a sense of clarity, of brightness, of possibilities, of joy. It reminded me, as I was thinking about this years ago, I took some classes with Lama Kathy Wesley. She's the Lama, the main primary teacher for the Buddhist temple in Columbus. And she told me about when she was first introduced to her Tibetan Buddhist path. And she went to a lecture with a friend and heard this Tibetan Lama speaking, presenting ideas out of his tradition. And in no time at all, she felt it in her body, in her mind, this flow of energy, this clarity, this sense of possibilities, as she thought, I want what he has. This is the way, walk in it. It's wonderful when that clarity comes. And it changed the course of her life, and she became, which enriched her life beyond measure. And of course, then she became the resident teacher of a temple where many, many others are being blessed by the path she was guided into, and then that other people were guided into as well. This is going on for all of us as we attune our ears to that inner voice, and we are guided and told, this is the good path, this is the way, walk in it. So whatever we can do, that's the easier way to navigate through life. Would you agree? Instead of the diligent trying to figure it out, plot it, we wear ourselves out. I think we make ourselves so weary trying to figure things out, especially challenges, problems. I think we really need, in times like this, to really back off and begin to cultivate that ways of tapping into that deeper level of wisdom, of what's ours to do. How can I be a blessing in the situation before me? In what needs to be healed right now? What's my part in that? What healing resources should I be drawing upon here? And invite God, let God flow in, let those answers come. Keep your antenna up. Create openings by day and by night for listening, for letting that inner voice speak up here by our ears and bring us those new ideas. This is the way, walk in it. Let's take that into a closing prayer if we could. And as we close our eyes and become centered within, we invite God into our hearts and minds. We invite God to guide us, to bring forth wisdom within us from that deep level where we know we are one with that great intelligence we call God, that great love, that will that is always good, always wholeness and blessing for every one of us, for each of us. We invite God to flow into us in fullness. We have no will apart from God's goodwill for ourselves, for others, for all living beings everywhere. How grateful we are to know we are one with God, and we can rest, and we can let God guide us through our days. We embrace this easier way that God makes possible for us all, and we give thanks for it. And so it is. Amen. All right. Well, Joe's going to come up again. He's going to put his other hat on. Come up and put his performer hat on. And we're going to do it's kind of a fun song by Eddie Watkins Jr., who we love. You all know that. We've had him here a few times to visit. It's one we've done a long time. It's a great one. We've done it often at like New Year's. That's a good time to do it when you're really wanting to start fresh. But I think it's a great song about taking this easier way, getting our hands off the wheel, letting God do the work. So feel free to join in on the chorus if you want to. The echo parts.
Got to do the echo part.
Yeah, the echo parts with me. I'll be doing that. So it's called Get Out of the Way.
Running around, fixing this and that, giving it up to God and then taking it back. Just release and let it go. You don't even have to think about it no more. So get out of the way.
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 Get out of the way and let God do His thing. Well, it looks like the weight of the world's on your back. Just take a deep breath and cut yourself some slack. All that drama ain't good for you. You couldn't change what is if you wanted to. So get out of the way.
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 Get out the way and let God do His thing. Well, the sun's gonna shine and the river's gonna flow. The tide's gonna rise without your say so. The universe is working and the good is flowing. You don't plant a seed and dig it up. See if it's grown, so get out of the way.
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 Get out the way and let God do His thing. Here we go again. Get out of the way.
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 Get